All right, today we're diving deep into the world of digital money. We're going to break down the key ideas from Marcus DeMaria's book, Profiting from Cryptocurrency. We'll look at what it is, how it actually works, and some of the main strategies for getting your head around this super exciting, but yeah, pretty volatile world. Let's get right into it. So the book kicks off with this quotes, and you know what? It really sets the perfect tone. The stuff that sounded like something out of a movie just a decade ago is now a very real thing, and for some people, a very profitable reality. It's a world of new possibilities for sure, but also new risks. And it's a completely different way of thinking about money itself. So, why all the hype? What's the big deal? Well, this number kind of says it all. The author points out that if you had put just $100 into Bitcoin way back in 2010, it could have exploded into more than $27 million. I mean, those returns are they're almost unbelievable, and that's exactly why millions of people are suddenly paying very close attention to crypto. But okay, beyond the mind-blowing numbers, what is cryptocurrency actually for? At its heart, it's being sold as a solution, a fix for the problems in our traditional financial system. Think of it like a digital revolution that's trying to change the very way we send, receive, and, importantly, control our own money. The author tells this great personal story that really makes it click. He had to send some money over to the US, and using a bank was just a total nightmare. You know the drill. Long holds on the phone, all these hidden fees, a terrible exchange rate, and then you have to wait 3 to 5 days for the money to even get there. With crypto, he sent it directly. It took about 10 minutes and cost a tiny fraction of what the bank charged. That's the problem crypto is trying to solve, cutting out those slow, expensive middlemen. So how is that even possible? It really all comes down to the tech that's humming away in the background. We're going to take a quick peek under the hood at the engine that powers all these digital currencies. But don't worry, I promise we'll keep it simple. This right here shows you the huge difference between the old way and the new way. Our current money system is centralized, right? There's a bank or a government in the middle of everything, controlling it all. Crypto, on the other hand, it uses a decentralized system. It's powered by its users. Because there's no central authority, it can be way faster, way cheaper, and it feels more like a network of peers instead of a top-down institution. And the technology that makes this whole peer-to-peer thing work? It's called the blockchain. The easiest way to think about it is like a giant shared digital notebook. Every single transaction gets written down in this notebook. And here's the crucial part. It's checked and verified by thousands of computers all over the world. This makes the whole thing transparent and incredibly hard to cheat or hack. Now, to really get a handle on how secure the blockchain is, the book uses this brilliant analogy. Just imagine a fly gets trapped in a sticky drop of tree sap. Amber. When it first happens, that amber is still soft. And here's the next step. Every new transaction is like another layer of that amber, hardening over the old ones. That fly, our original transaction, is now locked deep inside this solid block. It's become a permanent, unchangeable, and undeniable record. You literally can't change what happened in the past without shattering every single layer that was built on top of it. Okay, so we've got the basics of the tech down, but you have to understand the crypto universe is so much bigger than just Bitcoin. There are actually thousands of other digital currencies out there. They're called altcoins. And a lot of them were designed to solve very different, very specific problems. Let's look at a couple of examples. This table gives you a great snapshot. The author calls Bitcoin liquid gold. It's a way to store and send value. But then you've got something totally different, like Ethereum, which is all about smart contracts. Think of these as bits of code that automatically carry out agreements, which could one day replace things like lawyers or escrow services. And then there's Ripple, which is focused entirely on the banking world, trying to make those big international bank transfers faster and cheaper. So the main takeaway here is they're not all trying to do the same thing. Okay, let's get to the part I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for. How do you actually approach this stuff as an investment? The book makes a big shift here, from all the theory to the practical side of things, offering some key strategies and, just as important, some big warnings for anyone thinking about dipping their toes in. First things first, what to avoid. The author points out some major red flags to watch for. You've got Me Too coins, which are basically just copycats with no unique advantage. Then there are coins for these super specific industries that don't really need a special coin. And big ones to watch out for are projects with tiny, unqualified teams or really low trading volume. I mean, if nobody's actually trading it, that's a huge warning sign. So what's a smart way to invest? Well, the author suggests a diversified approach to manage all that risk. The idea is really simple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. A big chunk goes to the established players like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then you allocate smaller percentages to other well-known coins, some to up-and-comers, and maybe a tiny slice for the really high-risk, high-reward stuff, like initial coin offerings or ICOs. I love that the author included this quote from the legendary trader Jesse Livermore because it makes such a powerful point. In a market that jumps up and down like this one, trying to time every little move it's a recipe for disaster. The book really pushes for patience and having a clear strategy instead of making frantic emotional trades. It's all about sitting tight. And here's a really simple strategy he calls value cost averaging. Instead of panicking when the price drops, you learn to see it as a buying opportunity. The rules are straightforward. You buy a little bit when your coin drops 10% from its recent high. You buy a bit more if it drops 20%, and then again at 30%. This takes all the emotion out of it and actually turns that scary market volatility into your friend.
Of course, you can't have a serious conversation about crypto without talking about the risks and asking some pretty big questions about its future. It's so important to balance all the excitement with a healthy dose of reality. And believe me, the risks are very real. The author points out that, for starters, most people still just don't understand the technology. Also, there's no consumer protection. If you get scammed, there's no bank you can call because all the transactions are irreversible. You could lose everything if you misplace your digital wallet files. And yeah, the crypto space is absolutely full of scams and crazy claims, so you really have to be careful.
So, where are we in the grand scheme of things? The author uses this classic adoption curve to show where he thinks we are on the timeline. He believes we're just now moving from that early adopters phase into the early majority. Now, if he's right about that, it would mean that the biggest wave of public adoption and all the potential growth that comes with it is actually still ahead of us.
So what's the bottom line here?
Well, the author's take is that while most of the thousands of cryptocurrencies out there are probably going to fail eventually, the underlying technology, the blockchain, that's here to stay. He argues that the big established players like Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones most likely to survive and really thrive in the long run. And that brings us to the final question the book poses, and the one we're going to leave you with. After you weigh the incredible potential against all of the undeniable risks, is cryptocurrency just a crazy speculative fad, a lunatic fringe? Or is it really serious business? The future of finance? I guess only time will tell.